What's up? Welcome to Bree the Womannequin. I am Bree. I've only ever seriously dated two guys in my medium long life. One was too hard. He's like a wannabe YN. I say wannabe because he was really just a bum. If you watch my videos, he's Lance. Blah to that guy, right? The other was too soft. He was 7 years younger than me. Good Lord. Would I say he was a mama's boy? If a guy goes from living with his mom to living with you and expecting you to do everything that his mom was doing, does that make him a mama's boy? I don't really think that's the true definition. I feel like after 5 years since my last relationship ended in April 2020, I feel like I'm due. I'm bound to get that guy that's just right. I'm due. At least that's how it feels. Because like most romantic idiots, I've kind of been bought into this idea that eventually you'll meet the right person, because that's what Disney told me. Not just Disney. All of them places told me that eventually you meet the guy or the girl or whoever. Eventually, it's gonna happen for you. So as my life continued along its path and I started heading closer and closer to what our culture calls spinsterhood, I was like, wait a minute. I don't know if this train even has a destination. I just got on this train of life. Like this was the Hogwarts Express, and literally it takes me from fucking platform 9 3/4 to Hogwarts. It's like a bullet train. It only makes 2 stops. That's what I assumed. Single to non-single. I don't think that's the destination anymore. It's a very weird place to exist. And it's had me kind of restructuring some things in my brain. I had a friend that is very young. She is 20 years old, not old enough to drink the champagne at her reception, and she just got married 2 or 3 weeks ago, which good for her. Kudos to her. But it's definitely got me looking at my own life what's happening here? What's going on? I feel like a lot of people cry, oh my God, I'm so lonely and unhappy. I'm sure potential suitors are banging on their door as they're crying in their room alone. And they're over here leave me alone. Nobody loves me. I have in my notes, despite my loneliness, I would rather be alone than settle for some lukewarm porridge that tastes like shit. I feel like that's not fair, because that's assuming that every potential suitor that I have not had interested in is a bowl of shit. And that's just not true. I would say a better example would be potential suitors have been Indian food to me. Obviously, no offense if you're Indian, but I do not like Indian. I say that and I have Indian food in my freezer right now. On average, I don't like Indian food. That's a bad example. It's literally in my fridge and I've been eating it for 4 days. But that's a different story. That is me settling. It was buy one, get one free, and one serving size lasts 2 days. And I was like, how can I not take Indian food up on its offer to feed me for 4 days? But it's not really what I wanted. Growing up, if you grew up in the West or in America, there's a lot of cultural programming around romance, isn't there? Every other Disney princess, every other Transformers movie, there's always a love interest, isn't there? Some of my favorite movies of all time, still to this day, are romance movies. Bridget Jones is about a frumpy, awkward, socially undesirable woman who gets the guy. Not only that, but he likes her just how she is. That's the dream, right? Somebody to like you just the way you are. Amélie, one of my favorite movies, is a French movie about a quirky, awkward girl who once again gets the guy and he becomes intrigued with her because she's quirky and awkward. My third favorite romance movie would have to be Timer. It's about a woman who is past her prime, she's in her 30s. Dear God, she's ancient. In this alternate universe, everything is the same, except there's a technology that you can implant into your arm and it shows you the exact time that you're gonna meet your soulmate. But the trick is that the other person has to have it too, and you choose whether or not you want to get it. So you can have one. If your soulmate doesn't have one, it's just gonna keep flashing blank. The main woman, hers is blank, which means that her soulmate does not have a timer. Her sister has a timer, but her sister's in her early 20s, but it's telling her that she's not going to meet her soulmate until her late 40s. So as you can imagine, she's depressed. Is it better to know and know that it's forever away, or is it better to just not know in any moment now that person can get a timer and your life could change? What if this person gets a timer and you're going to meet them tomorrow? Anyway, I just say that to say those are some stories that really affected me. Even like when I started reading Hunger Games, I inhaled those books. These are books that are like totally about dismantling an evil government and how they use people and all these other wild themes, right? I was so pissed at the end of the story where, spoiler alert, Katniss and Peeta get married, but she's so distracted by her PTSD that she doesn't even really know if she like loves him or not. That was so annoying. Get over that shit, bitch. There's a man in there who loves you, okay? Ironically, my favorite Disney princess was not a princess. Obviously, you know who I'm gonna say. It was my homie Mulan. I loved her so much. I identified with her, the tomboy nature. I was such a tomboy. I liked that she created her story. A lot of the other princesses, stuff just kind of happened to them. But I really liked that Mulan really took her journey into her own hands. And I thought her story with Shang Li was perfect. I liked that she wasn't looking for him. He wasn't looking for her. They came to respect each other after having to be around each other and learn each other and grow together. He's learning how to lead this ragtag group of soldiers into battle with this crazy, dangerous army. And she's trying to keep her father out of the war, which could potentially get her killed. I love it. They have bigger priorities than love. And by the end of the story, they're not in love. Shang has come to respect her, see her for the woman she is, see her for the strengths that she has. They don't get married. She just invites him over for dinner, and it's implied that this is the beginning. And I love that. And I always hated The Little Mermaid because this bitch threw away her entire family while Mulan is going into war literally for her father to save her father's life. This bitch Ariel said, fuck him and fuck all these friends. And people say, well, Ariel's dad was controlling and he destroyed her room of crap. And I'm like, well, Mulan's daddy told her that she needs to know her place. And Mulan, despite that, she still risked her own life. She could have been killed if she had been found out. That's how much she loved her father. This bitch Ariel saw the first dude walking on land and gave up her entire family for this dude. How can anybody respect her story? And then her story is that she's supposed to get him to fall in love with her in 3 days. That's toxic. It's not like this bitch learned her lesson. It's not like she started off like that and then she was like, 3 days, that's not enough time to like really learn and fall in love and get to love somebody. Ursula, you tricked me. Oh my God, it would have been so much better if their relationship with Eric was like imperfect. What if he was a dick? Then she would have been like, oh my God, I can't believe I gave up my voice for this guy I don't even know. And that would have been a much better story. But instead, The Little Mermaid teaches us that yes, you should give up your voice for a man. It's crazy because even though as a child, I did not like that love story, I greatly preferred Mulan and I always feel like I'm too bright here. I greatly preferred Mulan and Shang's love story to Ariel and Eric's love story. I still fell for that shit. I still fell for the, I'm gonna meet a guy and it's gonna be love at first sight and he'll feel that way for me and that's the journey, right? That's the whole of it. But then I think ultimately what happened when I actually got out and started living real life, I expected the same plot as The Little Mermaid, but I was Mulan on the inside, if that makes sense. If it was Mulan in Ariel's story, you would have never had the story of this dumb bitch trading away everything that she's ever known, her entire family, for a dude that she doesn't know, and you would have never had this woman literally going to save her father's life after they get into a huge argument because she still loves him. You would have never had a story. And I think that's what happened to me. I always thought life was like a plate of food, right? You got your main dish, your little side dishes, and then your drink. I thought that love and romance was like the main dish, right? Like that's like the lasagna. Then you got your side dishes like your career, your aspirations, and things like that. And then you have hobbies as another side dish, like the salad or something. And then your family is like the wine or your drink. You need that to wash everything down. I think the elements are still there, but I had the labels wrong. Your main dish, your lasagna, that is like your calling, right? The thing that fulfills you, the thing that you came here to do, whatever that means to you, right? That's going to be different for different people. For some people, that's raising a family. For some people, that's teaching or creating or building. And then you have your salad or your vegetables, right? These like would be your hobbies and your passions. What enriches your life, what really nourishes you. You don't necessarily need these things, but your life is certainly more balanced for having them. And you're going to be a lot healthier for having them. And then next you have your wine. That's still your family. It makes you feel warm and fuzzy inside, especially if it's aged well. This is a really good example. Good job, Brianna. And then like the love and companionship is like the bread. It rounds out the meal and it makes it feel complete. But you're not going to be satisfied just eating bread. Without that main dish, you're not going to feel satisfied with this meal. But the meal without the bread also feels incomplete. And I feel like that's where I am. Feel free to switch the labels on these dishes as you see fit. Let me know in the comments. What does your plate look like? Is your plate missing some elements? For years, I've been seeing a lot of comment that's all about the single independent woman who don't need no man, women that are decentering men and finding their happiness and all that stuff. And I think that really depends on who you are, where on your life's journey you are, and what your history is. I think for some people, they definitely need to hear that. Stop chasing a relationship, learn how to be alone, and learn how to be with yourself. I think some people need to hear that because some people have been chasing relationships. Some people are obsessed with being in love or feeling that feeling of infatuation. They need that in their lives and they don't feel happy when they don't have it. That's not everybody's story. I think that there's a difference between being burnt out from being in multiple back-to-back bad relationships or even one long bad relationship and being single forever. Those are two different things. If you're a person who is like me and you have been single for 5 years, that advice is not for you. It's so funny how many people in my life have been like trying to hook me up with people. When I was in Florida, I had somebody randomly message my phone, "How's Florida?" Like a random phone number. And I was like, "Who is this?" And the person was like, "My name is Chico. I was helping your grandma at the rehab center and she gave me your phone number." I was like, "Excuse me?" Just today, my cousin was like, "Can you send me a link to your Instagram because I know someone who is interested." I think that people are getting concerned because I'm getting up there in age and I've been single for 5 years. I'm like, I'm trying. I am. But the reality is there's a big elephant in the room, and that is, well, bitch, you clearly have romantic suitors. So why the fuck are you still single? Whose fault is it really? If you ask red pill dudes, they're definitely going to say something about how I'm picky and I really need to lower my standards, yada, yada, yada. I'm at a really weird point in my life where almost all of my friends are in relationships, and that's never happened to me before. I've normally had at least one single bitch to hang out with, but no. Well, all of my female friends. It makes me think, like, is there something wrong with me? Am I not as cute as my grandmother has been telling people? No, that can't be it. In terms of meeting partners, I could definitely tell you a list of all the things I'm doing terribly wrong. I would say the biggest thing, just to get it out of the way, is I don't leave my house. You gotta meet people in order to like see people. The second big reason, this is all I'm gonna say about it. I am neurodivergent. I'm really bad at social cues, and maybe you see me on the internet and it's endearing when I talk like this to people in real life. It's not endearing to them. I always thought like I'm gonna meet someone who's just gonna like that. There is a difference between being lonely and being single and being settled. And there's a double meaning there. Obviously, I'm meaning being settled as in with a partner, but meaning being settled as in settling for somebody that you really don't want to be with for a myriad of reasons. In terms of settling, I would say like, for most people, it's kind of just a gut feeling. Like, oh, I'm not going to be compatible with that person. Is that an issue for you? I mean, are you single or are you settled? You can tell me. Come on. You can tell me. Because I can't be the only one who's choosing to withhold all of the wonderful benefits that come with being in a relationship. I don't mean love and romance. I mean things like having somebody to pay half of your rent. That's great. I think I miss that so much. Currently, I live alone. It's dangerous being a woman living on your own in the city. It's part of the reason why I got a scary dog in the first place. She's scary when she want to be. And sometimes this bitch be too friendly. That's less of a problem when you have a partner that can ensure your safety. Oh my God. One time I stayed in this apartment with 2 other girls, and there was a guy who was maintenance who used to come knocking on the door asking for me, and he specifically said he liked me and he was just being a creep. When I started dating my boyfriend, this was like years ago, he like went out there and he talked to him and he was like, stop coming in my girl's house. If I see you around here again, it's going to be a problem. And I didn't have a problem with him from then on, and it was great. Cannot do that now. I mean, I probably could get one of my guy friends to do it. Oh my God, splitting bills, miss doing that. I have to keep a new car. I always had used cars before, but I cannot have a car older than 5 years old while I'm still single, because I can't afford to be stranded on the side of the road at 1 a.m. Also, I don't know if men realize like how just generally unsafe it can feel to just exist as a woman. I plan a lot of my life around avoiding men. I said this in my last video, like the man is the bear in the woods to me. The man and the bear are the same. Like the man is that guy from Midsommar wearing the bear suit, except he's somehow both the man and the bear at the same time. Even just having somebody there to help you with stuff. The other day, my friend who lives an hour and a half away from me, she invited me and some other folks to stay the night at her apartment because they were doing a Halloween prowl type thing. She's like, if you come down here, it takes an hour and a half. You're going to be here late. You're probably going to be drinking. You should just stay the night here and then go back in the morning. And I was like, bitch, if I do that, who's going to watch my dog? I have to plan my whole life around having a dog. If I have to drive an hour and a half at 2 a.m. so I can get back and walk my dog, can you imagine what would have happened if I had kids? I wouldn't have been able to go. Kids are a huge responsibility, and I want kids. That was always the plan. It's funny, I had a friend who, she's 2 years older than me, and I said something about kids, and she was like, oh, I didn't know you wanted kids. And I'm like, you're just assuming because I'm out here living the single independent life. No, kids were always in the plan. The guy just never came around to plant the seed. Gross. That's gross. So I'll never say that again. I will not be having kids by myself. People are like, well, you can always adopt kids and have kids. Why would I do that? I would never choose to be a single parent. I'm not knocking anybody who has done it. I think it's incredibly hard, and it's not something that I would choose to do. Being single is a very hard and incredibly stressful existence. As a person who just got laid off from their job just last week, bitch, I am stressed, okay? If I had a partner, this would be so much easier. I've done so much studying on healthy relationships, on red flags, attachment styles. I like to watch dating coaches. When I listen to them, I'm like, oh my gosh, they're right. That was a red flag, but I ignored it. And that's how I got into this toxic relationship. My first boyfriend, there were lots and lots and lots of red flags that I ignored because I was just ready to have a boyfriend. I felt like I was holding on to my relationship virginity and I just wanted it to be over. And it was a mistake. Same thing with second guy. I dated not too long after, and I just kind of thought that you're supposed to just keep being in relationships because that's how like TV makes it seem. Like you're just supposed to constantly be dating people, person after person after person. Like if you watch Seinfeld, they're always dating someone, or if you watch Girlfriends, like every episode it's a new person. And I just thought that that's how it worked. And I think for some people, they are serial daters and that's how it works. But I didn't know that it didn't have to be that way. I'm like very burnt out with learning about relationships. All that stuff where people are like, you should prepare for your next relationship by learning to love yourself and learning what you want in a relationship and setting expectations and boundaries. And bitch, I've already done all of that. It's been 5 years. I've had plenty of time to think about that shit. And the reality is, I know that relationships and partnerships are not perfect. I know that you won't always be in love with that person. I know that that fairy tale is not real. If you're wanting to be a surgeon, at some point, you gotta just cut a motherfucker open, right? You can like go to school and be reading all the books and stuff and looking at all the diagrams and learning about all the hypothetical situations, but you're not technically a surgeon until you pull out a motherfucking spleen. Am I a good partner? Am I a bad partner? I have no idea. I don't have the experience to even say that. Who am I in a relationship? I have no idea. If me and my partner were in a movie, right, it would not be my partner is the main character and I'm the love interest. But it also wouldn't be I'm the main character and my partner's the love interest. It would be like we're both the main character. I'm looking for the Jon Snow to my Daenerys. I know a lot of people don't like that pairing. It was perfect. He was Jon Snow. She was Queen of the Dragons. Anyway, that's what I'm looking for. I like a Shang to my Mulan. I started with them looking for the partner who sees me for who I am and wants that in a partner, right? And they're a person with their own goals and dreams, and I'm a person with my own goals and dreams, and we come together and help each other pay rent. In my video last year, I said I have been single for 4 years, not by choice. The whole not by choice is because I'm not actively choosing to be single. I don't wake up every day and choose singlehood. It's just a consequence of me being a person who will not settle for less than what she wants or for what she needs. And that's not to speak ill on anybody who is interested in me or finds me attractive or anything like that. It's just I've not listened to my gut before and I just want to listen to it this time. Part of me wants to say that's fine, but the reality is that sucks. And I think ultimately, like, I would rather wake up single and lonely than wake up next to a person that's I know is not right for me. I would rather eat a meal without the bread than force myself to swallow bread that is, I don't know, moldy. I don't know. The meal might not feel complete, but at least it'll be healthy. Or at the very least, it won't be unhealthy. A lot of women were talking about decentering men, and I'm like, bitch, just because you have loneliness that's stemming from the fact that you're single and you've been single for a long time does not mean that you are centering men. You are allowed to be lonely. You're allowed to feel your feelings. You're allowed to want a relationship and to want a healthy partnership. You're allowed to wait as long as you want for that to happen. Don't feel forced and don't feel rushed. I'm gonna choose single and lonely over unsettlingly settled any day. When you settle, like, the wrong partner doesn't just fail to complete your life. They contaminate everything else in it. So until I find something that's fresh and tasty and goes with my meal, I think I just have to be good with what's on my plate. Anyways, I think this is where I conclude the video. Definitely give this video a like if you liked it. Give it a dislike if you disliked it. And let me know why you disliked it in the comments below. Also, I'm at like a weird place in my channel. A lot of people are here because they like my atheist content, but I'm not trying to be an atheist YouTuber. And I feel really scared to admit that out loud because I don't want to lose subscribers. I'm like this close to having 20,000 subs. My content is not consistent enough. I'm trying to focus less on a topic and more on the theme of my channel, which I'm not gonna say just yet. I'm gonna try to see if you can pick up on the theme. Leave me a comment below. Oh my gosh, first of all, I have so many questions. What is your ideal couple scenario? I've told you 2 of mine. I said Mulan and Shang and Jon and Daenerys. Those are my 2. What are your thoughts? on settling. Would you be like me and be single for 5 years? Also, like, what's your lasagna? I'm pretty sure my lasagna is working on this channel. It brings me a lot of fulfillment. Do you feel like your plate is complete? Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Is that cringe? Do I care? I don't care. I'm gonna do my finger guns. I will see you next time.